Here this Tuesday, November 3rd, for another Artist Talk. Our special guests today, and we have two, are Alejandro Simon, who is the artist representative and curator for our present exhibition, Here and There, which is the work of 5 Cuban-born artists. The exhibition will be with us until November 20th. We will be having a reception on November 10th. It is by reservation only. You need to call to make a reservation. We do ask that you wear your mask in the building, but you will have a chance to speak with Alejandro at that time and have a chance to look at the rather extraordinary exhibition that is on our walls. Also joining us today is Piter Ortega, who is a journalist and art historian, an expert in this field of art. I am going to turn this over to Alejandro so that they can have a little discussion and you can learn a bit more about both the artists and the artwork that graces our gallery walls. Alejandro, good to see you.
Awesome. Good afternoon, Haida. Good afternoon, Peter.
Good afternoon.
It's awesome to see you both here, to see us three in one conversation. This is, I think, a one-in-a-lifetime thing because it's ideal. Peter, so I know you have written extensively about Cuban art and its endeavors, and you have written books and articles and in newspapers and books about Cuban art, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to discuss maybe this exhibition of these Cuban artists with you, because like Aida said, you're an expert in this topic. And one of the things that I wanted to ask you so that the audience gets to know more about the exhibition and the artists, what do you think these 5 artists have in common from your art critic point of view?
Well, I think the most important thing that they have in common is the notion of identity. Those artists, they all bring something important to the table, to the discussion. And it's one important question. What does it mean to be a Cuban artist in the 21st century? That's an important question that we will answer through all the artworks. But not only what does it mean to be a Cuban artist in the 21st century, but also, and this is the second question they bring to the table, what does it mean to be an immigrant artist in the US in this context we are living in, which is a very complex context? That is an important topic that we will discuss when we walk through the exhibition. And I think the third point that they have in common is another important question, and is what does it take to redefine your works when you move to a new environment, when you come to a new country, when you become an immigrant and you arrive in a country with different motivations, different human conflicts, different social topics than the ones that they had in Cuba. That is very hard for an artist. And you come from a country like Cuba that is totally different than the US, and you start your art process again in this new environment. It's a painful process. It's like I will say like resetting your hard drive. You have to start from the beginning. You have to start knowing the new context. You have to start knowing the new people, the new motivations, the new political and social conflicts of the new society, and that takes time. And I think they have done very well in adapting to the US environment. And why I am thinking that they have done it very well is because they were very smart and they realized that the transition between Cuba and the US could be very easy if they keep talking about the relationship between art and power. Because in Cuba, when they were in Cuba, their artworks were all the time criticizing the power, criticizing what is bad in society, putting art at the service of human emancipation, at the service of the humble people, at the service of the needy people. And that's exactly what they are doing here in the US with the new artworks. If we see most of the artworks that they have done in the US, we still see that conflict to power. They keep questioning, they keep criticizing what is bad in society, they keep deep in what is sick about politics, psychology, anthropology. They realize that a real artist will never give up the social responsibility of art. Art is a tool to people's emancipation. And they know that, they understood that from Cuba. And they are translating the same tool, questioning everything that is related to power, to the new environment in the US. And that is very, very important. I think that that is what justifies and putting them together.
That's very interesting, Peter, what you just said. And I could clearly see it in the artworks that are being exhibited at the Marco Vela Center for the Arts, especially Juan Manuel Garcia, who I consider a historian. And every time I see his works, I can see how he's translating his language to a different landscape now because he's living.
Exactly. Exactly. Or Khaled, for example, Khaled Suarez. When you see the way Khaled is talking about the the way that in the US the consumer society is absorbing our life. Like he's talking about McDonald's, Coca-Cola, a lot of topics related to how we consume items in the US and how that consumption sometimes make us like to be in a dehumanization, which is not always good. You know, I think Calais is very strong in that new adaptation.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thinking about what you just said, and seeing how the artists have been evolving all this time since the moment they left the island and everything they have been living for these past 10 years that they've been living in the United States. Why do you think then it's a must for us, for the audience, to go see this exhibition now that they have been living, in person, the experiences of the United States?
Well, I think this is a must-see exhibition, and all the people who are watching us, I suggest that you go to the gallery because the exhibition has important values. The first one is a strong technique. You will see works that are impressively well done, either in photos or drawings, paintings. They have a strong ability in regards to the hand, we can say the technique, but they also have a deep concept, and that is important. Not always we see artworks that are balanced between the formal aspects and the content, and here we see everything. We see artworks that are very strong in the part that regards to formal or visual values or design values, but also we see deep concepts. I keep saying this because it's important. A strong human, psychological, anthropological issues that are discussed in this artist. And that this balance between visual values and content, a strong concept, this is most of the exhibitions we see like cute paintings or very well done paintings or very attractive, visually attractive artworks, but we think that we are losing something in with regard to the content. And other times we see very experimental exhibitions with strong philosophical concepts, but we are missing the technique, the virtuosism, we are missing the visual values. But here we have everything together. I think this is the most exhibition. Also, another reason to visit the exhibition is that they are very successful young artists. It means they are gonna be famous in the future. I see that process. They're gonna be very successful artists, and this is the moment to buy them because 10 years from now, maybe you are not gonna be able to afford them. So when you see young artists so valuable, this is the time to invest when they are young. When they are famous, 20 years or 10 years from now, forget it. Maybe you're not going to be able to afford it. As an investment, this is the moment because they are very talented, but this is the moment in their career when you still can have affordable prices.
Awesome, and that's that really gets me thinking about the topic of collecting art, the topic of amassing the amount, investing in an artist, in someone that will be famous in the future. And how do we know this? How do we know that? And that was the question I was trying to ask you. How do you see these artists in the future, maybe 5, 10, 20 years from now? Knowing that you know so much about what has happened before, knowing what the past brought us, how do you think what the future holds for these artists and for the Cuban art itself?
I think I see them in big museums. I see them in important fairs, biennials. I see them all over the world because they have the talent for that. And also, I forgot to tell you that another thing that is important in the exhibition is the variety, the diversity regarding style mostly, but also we have unity in the concept, and but in the style we have a lot of diversity. We have some surrealism influences, for example, in Khaled. We have some hyper-realism influences, for example, in Bermudez, also in Raciel, and we have some anthropological picture realism photography in Jose Luis Diaz Montero. I think we have a lot of different styles. In some cases, we can see expressionism, some parts. It's not like a tedious or monotonous or like a standard. You will have diversity within the unity of identity of what does it mean to be a Cuban artist today.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Peter. That was very nice of you. The way you wrapped everything up, it really expressed the meaning of what the audience and the people are going to see once they go to the gallery.
Yeah, when we see, for example, the Calais Suarez metallic bird, or when we see Jose Luis Diaz Montero's deep investigations into the human body and the storytelling with human body, or when we see Raciel Gomez Golpe's interest in ruins and old architecture and the beauty of old textures, when we see Bermudez interest in faces and portraits, and I think we can. It's like it's very cinematographic what we see in the exhibition. It's like going through different scenes of a big movie. It's interesting. And I think I see the exhibition as a very cinematographic experience. For me, it's like a movie in two dimensions, and that's interesting.
Wow, what do you think, Highland?
Alejandro, you know what? And I've never even asked you this before. Clearly, Peter, you've seen the work of all of these artists and have commented on it, and you have such comprehensive knowledge of the scope and breadth of what we're seeing in the walls of our exhibition. And here, as I sit on Marco Island, and Alejandro's in Miami, and Peter, you're in Manhattan. I mean, it's amazing that we can all be brought together. But Alejandro, have these artists shown their work together before? Has there been an exhibition where you've seen these 5 artists work all together? Or is this the first time we're actually seeing their work on the walls with this mix of mediums, these messages, these different styles, and yet this connectivity between them by virtue of identity and exploration of subject matter? Is this the first time we're seeing it?
It is the first time, so it's wow. It's the first time that we see that, because some of them knew each other from before, but half of them didn't know each other from before. So we did a conglomerate of these 5 artists, and we're able to put this together after curating the exhibition. So it is amazing how the artwork from 5 Cuban artists were able to have some unity and at the same time some diversity, like Peter was saying before. So I feel very honored to be working with the artists and with Peter as well, because I know Peter has been writing a lot for the artists and for future projects that the project will have in the future. So I have to thank you, Peter, for everything you're doing. And by the way, again,
It was a pleasure.
Well, and we wish that we could get you a little closer so it would be wonderful. Maybe you could just fly down for next Tuesday night and everybody could meet you. I know, we're not traveling right now. I know there's some problems in the world that might prevent that. But I have to tell you, Alejandro.
In the future, I would love to go there to see the space and interact with
You have an open invitation, and as we say at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, once you walk through our door, you become part of our art family, as Alejandro is, as these 5 artists are, and we hope that you will always think of us as an art home. Alejandro, we feel privileged to have an exhibition of this quality, something that speaks so powerfully, which people have a visceral response to. We've seen it from the people who have been able to enjoy it, the reviews that we've had in our area media. I hope this is the beginning for them on this long journey that Peter has projected out to great success in the future. And again, we feel very proud to know that we've played a small role in propelling them towards their artistic destiny. So we want to thank you, gentlemen, for being with us here today. As I said, Alejandro, I will see you next Tuesday, as I hope many of you, if you feel comfortable, can come out and join us. As I said, we limit the reception to just 30 people. We do require people to wear masks. We are following all safety protocols because your health and well-being is of paramount importance to us here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. And speaking of things going on at the Marco Island Center for the Arts, we hope you might consider joining us this Thursday night when we launch our musical interlude series with Patchouli and Terra Guitarra. They will be performing in our courtyard. It will be an outdoor concert. You'll be able to move your chair wherever you feel comfortable so you can feel as safe as you need to feel. And if you're not going out at this point or you're not on Marco, you can also go to our website and purchase a ticket to a streaming version of the concert that's been filmed in the gallery with artistic projections. And when you purchase that stream, you'll get a private link that will be good from 5:30 on November 5th, which is Thursday, through Sunday night, November 8th. So I do hope that you can join us, as well as joining us next Thursday when our special guest will be Glenn Reed, who is with our reception wine sponsor, Total Wine. And we're going to be having a little conversation about the art of wine on Thursday. So do consider joining us again. Alejandro, Peter, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and for what you all do to make the world a more artful beautiful, and thoughtful place. So I wish you all a great afternoon. We wish you a great afternoon out there. We'll see you again Thursday. And please, if you feel like it, come on down to the Marco Island Center for the Arts, because we'll be looking forward to seeing you. Because what? We're your art home. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ayla.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.